Hello and welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Ross Sutherland.
And our guest today is Elise Bauman, and she is the Executive Director of Salem Harvest. Think about that word, Salem Harvest. Just like anybody who has something left over from their harvesting their trees, they have all this fruit, vegetables, they say, we have too much. Can't we give it away or do something with it? And that leads us to invite Elise here because Salem Harvest has an extraordinary story, and I can't wait to hear it from you. Tell us, what is Salem Harvest?
Salem Harvest is a nonprofit organization here in Salem, and we go out and harvest fruits and vegetables that would otherwise be wasted in farms and backyards in the greater Salem, Marion, Polk County areas.
Give us a few statistics about how big, how much, because I heard some figures from Marion Polk Food Center share that absolutely blew my mind about how big an operation this is.
Yeah, you bet. Last 3 years, we've donated each year about 300,000 pounds.
300,000
pounds of fresh local produce to Marion Polk Food Share or Oregon Food Bank, depending on how big of a crop we were harvesting. Some of it goes statewide, like when we get into butternut squash and we have 100,000 pounds of butternut squash in 2 days. That's kind of hard to push through Marion Polk counties. I mean, you get tired of it eventually. So
you're a nonprofit separate from these organizations.
Yes.
How does it work with farmers and with the organizations that distribute this food? Yeah,
you bet. We totally are 501c3 ourselves, nonprofit. We raise our own funds, all that good stuff. And it gives us a little flexibility. So we reach out to farms and farmers and people with backyard trees as well, and we go out and harvest that. And they are donating it to they're donating it to Salem Harvest.
Right.
And then a portion of what gets harvested, the people who come out and harvest, the volunteers, they take a portion home for their own use and their own family's use. And then the majority goes to Marion Polk Food Share or Oregon Food Bank, and Salem Harvest donates that to them. Wow. So we're just kind of this middleman. And how quick does it turn around?
Yeah.
It turns around in a matter of hours, practically.
We can show people that that's exactly the way it happened. I followed you out there on an early, beautiful morning last June.
Yes.
And we went out to Paramount Farms. Let's take a look at the video because that shows exactly the food being picked, this case, strawberries.
And we were there harvesting beautiful strawberries, but it was the third harvest, and there's fewer of them, making it more or not cost effective to harvest a third time.
Well, it came to a wonderful destination, as we'll see. Why don't we take a look at that video?
Yeah.
Everyone's got lungs.
Today's strawberries are headed back in that truck to Marion Polk Food Share, and they'll be shared with 100 food pantries in Marion Polk counties. So we're doing an awesome thing. And like normal, we're going to harvest and donate half, and families can take home half.
And so to be able to be a contributor to feeding people that would go without, it's perfect.
Salem Harvest is an amazing nonprofit organization, galvanizes thousands of volunteers to capture food right in the moment that's past the farmer's use and before it goes bad, before it gets plowed under, before something else happens to it. And they said, let's not make that great nutritious food go to waste. So volunteers capture it, they bring it to the food share, we distribute it sometimes within the day, out to our pantries, out to families that are so happy to receive great quality, nutritious, fresh off the farm food. That is golden. It's golden because of the high quality of the food, because it's strawberries, and because how much people just appreciate getting fresh produce today.
That was wonderful.
The look on those kids' faces.
That's amazing. And to think all of that food would just be rotting in the fields.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Wow. So how did you become involved with Salem Harvest?
People think I'm like one of the founders, and I'm really not. I got in on like the first or second farm harvest because it started here in South Salem on Cottage Street, and there was 4 or 5 neighbors that were like looking around, and they saw all the plums and all the cherries and different things just falling on the ground, going to waste, and they're like, well, number one, it's messy. And number two, they're like, well, let's find something better to do with this.
Yeah.
So they started forming these harvest parties and then go from neighbor house to neighbor house and just harvesting it. And they'd take it to Union Gospel Mission and donate it. And then the idea started flowing, and they're like, well, maybe we could have little harvest parties all over Salem, you know, in people's backyards, and how fun it would be to have, you know, a handful of people. And then the Paramines, Molly Paramine, saw it on Facebook and said, why don't we do it at a farm? So our very first farm harvest, I believe, was a green bean harvest where there was white mold on about 9% of the green beans. That was 1% more than the processing plant would handle. So they're bypassing the whole 5 acres.
Oh.
But people with eyes can see the mold and not pick those. And so we went out there with, 100 people or something, and that was my first harvest. And I was just so amazed by all the green beans and the opportunities, because I grew up in agriculture in southern Nevada. So I could see the opportunities of how awesome it could be as we get more and more farmers involved in the different varieties. Like this last year, we're over 20 different things that we harvest on a farm.
Wow.
20 different varieties of things.
Well, and what a wonderful thing for your volunteers. It's a physical thing, and you're picking beans and you're doing something for someone else.
And it's the service, and it's the learning of where it grows. And when the kids come out, because you can see that we have kids, it's a family affair. So when the kids come out, they learn about where food actually comes from, that strawberries don't grow underground, and and all these beautiful things. And sometimes, more often than not, the farmer will swing by and say, hey, and thank you for your service, and thanks for coming by, and answer anybody's questions. And we've had growers hand out, recipes that would be awesome to use, and it's just a fun time, and it's a collaboration. I mean, not only do the urban people here in Salem, because for the most part people come out from a city or a town to harvest, they get to be exposed to, a farm, but the farmers get exposed to us.
Well, and you also learn about hunger, which it's always amazing to me how much hunger is out there. You think, oh, well, it's just a couple of people, but it's a lot of people in Marion Polk counties.
Yeah, there's 100 food pantries that Marion Polk Food Share serves, and I think, and I might be wrong, don't quote me, I think it's over 4,000 people per month that they serve through their food pantry system. So.
It's a lot. And
It's
a wonderful working relationship you have. It's a beautiful collaboration. If somebody wanted to be in touch with you, how do they best get in touch with you so they can donate their time, or to get involved in some way?
Oh, you bet, you bet. So on our website is the best way to go. It's salemharvest.org. And up at the top banner, there's a button for volunteer, and you pick that, and they're going to ask you 5 questions, and you have to agree to our terms of participation, and those sort of things. And then if you want to donate a crop, there's that little button there that says donate, and so you can click on that, and you can donate from a backyard or a farm, and you just fill out a form online, or you can just look on there and find my phone number and give me a phone call about that. And then we have a PayPal button on there too if you want to donate cash, so we can donate through there as well.
Well,
it's wonderful.
That's beautiful. I can see this going national.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? Because, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I firmly believe that in the United States, if we ate all the food that we grew, no one would be hungry in the United States.
Oh, that's a beautiful note to leave things on.
Yeah.
I would love to have you come on back sometime.
For sure.
It would just be beautiful.
I would love that.
I mean,
as you can tell,
it's a growing organization.
But
yeah, exactly. But as you can tell, it's like one of my favorite subjects to talk about.
Well, yeah.
Well, You've given us a lot to think about today. And thank you for coming in. We love this.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
It's been a great time.
Thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Ross Sutherland.
We'll see you again.